By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jack. Oh wait, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Antonio Brown. But who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't but Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh,
but
actually,
hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. It's fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
so follow a simp account.
Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually
networking.
follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't look at that. It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Or maybe in a few seconds. Who knows? Fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unprettier.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
Switch. What?
This guy say forehead.
Yes, I did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest. You almost didn't.
Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right. Next up.
Unbelievable. 5 head.
Next up, we have.
Why people happy? Pagu. Weird champ. Weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad? What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay.
Why?
Why do people happy? KW, LOLW, XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. You were backstage.
Okay.
They're just like, yo, it's not gonna be a triple. It's not gonna be a
No, dude, we're gonna do a fatal 4-way poggers, bro. Thanks for the fucking bits.
Fuck, damn it! Jump off a roof.
Well, they just lost Gunther, so I don't know how that is gonna survive. But what's it called? But the Third Reich faction. That's the Imperium's gonna turn to the Third Reich now. But he posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says "Justice" on it. and then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your bald ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm. Please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jack. Oh wait, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. Fuck you. Tony Brown, but who the fuck's in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't. But Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Can't start
Oh,
this
but,
right, guys.
but hey,
There's
it
no
worked
real
out in
the
reason
long
to
run.
join
I
the
hope. I
chat so
actually
we
do
can
hope
get
they make
things
another season actually, because I
underway.
would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear, saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only
That's-
Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. It's fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great, but
So follow a simp account.
okay, okay. But here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
We
easy
actually
networking.
follow
You
a
got
simp
Zach,
account.
it was a business decision.
it's
to
a
follow
business.
the
It's a business. You
wrestling
have to
simp,
follow these
okay?
people. This is like following. If you want a stan account, you got to follow the other stans. And
I know,
listen,
but, like,
when you
shit,
get big, you
I-
get rid of them. You
I
get
thought-
rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is pro wrestling
I don't
simp,
look
and I'm
at
like,
that.
what is this?
I don't look at that.
It
I don't
was
look
a
at that stuff.
business decision.
It's a business
okay?
decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens. This is-
Yeah, well, we got go so fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unpretty.
This guy just say
I'll take
fucking
kill
forehead.
switch.
What?
This guy say forehead.
You
Yes, I
did.
did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest, you almost didn't.
Weird champ. Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
All right, next up,
Unbelievable. Five head.
Next
Poggers.
up, we have
Why people happy? Pogu. Weird champ. For weird. Forehead.
Oh god.
Franker faces.
Oh.
Wowie. Why people sad. What else?
Look at how red my face is.
What else we got? Let me go on Twitch right quick. Okay.
why?
Why do people happy?
Oh.
Tech W, LOL W,
Oh.
XQCL.
All right. The Acclaim promo now. We were backstage.
Okay.
They're just like, yo, it's not gonna be a triple. It's not gonna be a
No,
normal.
dude, we're gonna do a fatal four-way. Poggers, bro. Thanks for the fucking
God.
bits.
Fuck, damn it! Jump off a roof.
Well, they just lost Gunther, so I don't know how that is gonna survive. But what's it called? But the Third Reich faction. That's the Imperium's gonna turn to the Third Reich now. But
But he posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his castle. It says "Justice" on it.
and then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me.
It's now Monday, guys. You know what that means. It's now time for your weekly dose of the injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. For those in the YouTube chat, I don't know why messages are getting restricted. I guess the Nightbot is still fucking around, so don't be a dumbass. Simple as that. Yeah, don't be a dumbass. That's pretty much it. So yeah, we had the final countdown. Well, Forbidden Door, the final countdown was a thing. So getting into it, we have a lot to cover. So without further ado, I am the Outlaw of Long Island, Zach Drill. To my right, we have Mr. Marathon himself, Mike, and then down below we have the Goon, Christian.
That shit was good. That shit was hot.
Damn.
Fucking
Yes.
great show. Unbelievable. Definitely right now I'm thinking maybe in contention for show of the year.
Quite possibly.
This was unbelievable. Had everything. Produced the match of the year. Contender. In my opinion, the new match of the year. With the same men. But yeah, just an excellent fucking show. And my God, is this an event to look forward to? Weekly. Weekly.
Yearly.
Well, yeah, weekly, but yearly.
It's just wild stuff, and it's absolutely wild things.
Just, I had no words after the Omega Osprey match because I was just so wowed.
I mean, it was unbelievable.
There's
I mean,
not many times I'm left speechless.
yeah, just an unbelievable fucking show tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. This probably will go down as probably AEW's best show. Up until All In. Up until All In.
Well,
All In's still
I
debatable.
don't know if I'd put this over All Out 2021. Still, I think that is the greatest show I've ever seen. That was a perfect show. And I've never seen a perfect show before.
Yeah.
It's
You gotta
show
save
was
that. You
definitely
gotta
up there,
save
though.
that shit after you got. This was a fucking unbelievable show. But you gotta save that shit after the honeymoon period. I mean, the show's been off the air for 12 minutes, but
Jesus.
but yeah, excellent stuff. So I mean, getting into the just the 0 hour matches here, just to run these down quickly. We had Chaos and El Desperado versus the Mogul Embassy. And this was a lot of fun. This match, a lot of great spots here. We're not gonna go down every spot of every match because this was a gigantic show, but the Mogul Embassy ended up taking the victory here. Great match. Then we had Billy Starks versus Athena, in the opening round of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And it was cool to see Billy because Billy's probably gonna be you're gonna see a lot more of her. She just graduated high school. And I believe she has already signed to the company. So we'll be seeing her a lot more. Athena picked up the victory here. She beat Billy. That wasn't anything in question. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. Next up, we had El Phantasmo versus Stu Grayson of the Righteous, and this was another great match. Two guys in their home country of Canada, two French Canadian guys. Um, just they had a hard hitting. They had a great match. A lot of they. It was really a showcase for ELP. And I'm glad they did that because I mean, ELP is going to be a big star one day. He already is in Japan, but he's going to be if the time comes after he ever leaves Japan, that guy's going to be a big star somewhere. But yeah, they had a great match. El Phantasmo picked up the victory with the CR2, and the last 0 hour match we had TJP, Kyle Fletcher, and Jeff Cobb of the United Empire versus Los Ingobernables de Japones, Hiromu Takahashi, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Shingo Takagi, and Bushi. And this was a great match. This was the best match on the 0 hour. I thought.
Follower goal.
That's cool. Um, this was fucking great. I mean, this was hard hitting. I mean, that's what you come to expect with Shingo, Jeff Cobb, Hiromu, Fletcher, and TJP in the fucking mix
guys,
here.
actually stop spamming that because we actually are trying to focus on this show and get through it. I'm
What
sorry.
was-
If
that's
it makes you
fine.
feel any better, I don't have the YouTube chat open.
Well,
so,
they also now are in the Twitch chat, so just.
oh, I'm just sharing links, so I'm not even seeing it.
What's it called? But it was. I mean, it was a great show. It was a great pre-show. They had Lij did go over. The crowd was so up for Hiromu and Shingo, which was really cool to see. Shingo won with the Made in Japan, and yeah, Lij took the victory there, and that concluded the 0 hour. And that was a very good pre-show.
Oh, it was like this was a fantastic pre-show. I should have went with Lij because once I realized that TJP was in, I was like, oh shit, that's right. TJP is like the fall guy for United Empire.
Not really. To be
Sometimes
honest,
he is.
not really. Well, in New Japan as he's presented, he actually really isn't. They already have a fall guy. They have Gideon Gray. But yeah, he's actually. I mean, in the junior division, TJP and Francesco Akira, they're booked strongly. Bushi was the biggest fall guy in the match, but TJP, I mean, he'll take a fall because I mean they're not going to be Cobb or Fletcher, but I mean he's not usually the fall guy, but I mean it was his first night, so it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that took us into the main show, and we opened with the AEW World Championship match between MJF and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And this was, I mean, I thought this was fantastic. Just a character work piece. It was something to behold for both for MJ. I mean MJF. I mean obviously Hiroshi Tanahashi is limited physically, and he's not what he used to be. Obviously, the guy's knees are fucking chopped meat, but MJF played to those strengths. He did a great job.
100%.
He on his elbow pad he had the words
Ace
his ass. That was funny. On his robe, on his entrance, he had New Japan. As I said, New Japan is an indie. So this guy gets it. He fucking gets it because all the promos going. He sounded like one of those fucking idiots on Twitter that don't know a thing, and he gets it. He just had to say what they said. But yeah, they were playing with the crowd. They were going back and forth. It wasn't slow, but they picked their spots well. And I mean, Max in the middle of the match had a scheduled tweet go out saying, "I already beat this guy by now," but he was still wrestling, so that was pretty funny.
Tony Khan will pay for his crime.
But
My
yeah,
wife left in
fun
57
little near
just
falls
followed.
here. Max, he was selling his knee, which was cool because that was a callback to his match with Bryan Danielson at Revolution when Danielson was working his knee. I mean, after even in the media scrum, he was on the crutch. But yeah, great stuff here. Great character work from MJF in this match and Tanahashi as well, because being like the the savior of New Japan and fighting against literally the devil. And the finish ended up with MJF hitting Tanahashi with the Dynamite Diamond Ring and knocking him out and pinning him for the victory. But I thought this was a great match.
Yeah,
I
fun
agree.
opener.
But yeah, so next up we had the I mean this was one of the funniest matches of the night. But we had another Owen Hart Cup tournament opening match. We had Satoshi Kojima versus CM Punk. And let me tell you something. Satoshi Kojima hasn't been this over in a little bit. And this was so cool to watch because I like Kojima. I mean, Kojima's awesome. But to see how over he was just because he was beating the shit out of Punk was fucking hilarious. And listen, I give credit to Punk here too because listen, he did a great job working the crowd and I mean, Kojima took most of the heat of the match. And the way he was working the crowd and I mean the boos, the fuck you Punk chants, the Pepsi sucks they were chanting at one point. They would chant for Kojima. Everything Kojima did, they were reacting huge for. They
Punk
were
did the
so up for
Kojima
it.
bit.
He did, but it was so good.
Kojima!
Lariat.
Lariat! that popped me. That was good.
That was a lot. That was really fun. But yeah, it was so funny watching Kojima just kept getting offense and then they would just fucking cheer Kojima. But yeah, Punk there was a spot where Punk got dropped and Kojima went up to do a elbow drop and he elbow dropped this guy right in the fucking balls. And it was dude, that shit was so funny. Because
Felt it.
it was unintentional, but it was like everyone caught on. And the crowd reacted big for it. But Punk ended up winning with the GTS. He brought Kojima up and raised his hand, which that kind of got a little bit of cheers from the crowd. Besides the mixed reaction he got all night. But yeah, they ain't in Chicago no more. So yeah, good stuff here. I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was a great match.
Yeah.
The Bread Club boys, I mean they are very happy to see Kojima on this show.
Indeed.
But yeah. Next up we had the AEW International title. Versus and this the Fatal 4-Way. And let me tell you something, this was an excellent match. We had
Yes.
Orange Cassidy defending his title against Katsuyori Shibata, the Ring of Honor Pure Champion, Zack Sabre Jr., the New Japan Television Champion, and Daniel Garcia. But yeah, this match was great. Every spot was planned out perfectly. They were going tit for tat with all of them. They basically they wrestled in a circle. What not a bad thing, but they wrestled in a circle. Everyone got cycled out. Spot him. You do this with this guy. This guy goes with this guy. They were like working in tandem perfectly. And that's a very impressive thing to do with two guys who are barely in the company, one guy who doesn't speak really English well, and another guy who his gimmick is he really doesn't want to do anything. So and you have, you have a guy in there in Katsuyori Shibata who is one of the best like strikers in the business, and a guy who is like no nonsense. Doesn't he? I mean, his gimmick is that he's the wrestler. You have Zack Sabre Jr., the best technical wrestler in the world. You have Orange Cassidy, who doesn't want to be there, and you have fucking Daniel Garcia, who's a sports entertainer. So you have all these egos clashing at once, and they all fucking meshed well and what meshed perfectly.
He's very tired, Christian. He's so very tired.
He's great.
The fucking slapping spot in the middle of the ring was just wild. I feel like it's once again, Orange Cassidy has another banger of a fucking match on Forbidden Door.
Yep.
Oh, 100%.
But one of the great spots I like is when Zack and Shibata they were fighting with each other, and Garcia just kept trying to like get involved, and they kept fucking slapping Garcia away. Like Shibata would slap Garcia away, and then him and Zach would go back to fighting, and then Zach would slap Garcia away, and then they would go back to fighting, and then fucking he hit both of them, and he started doing his little jig, and Orange came in the ring. He hit Orange. Orange hit him back, started doing the jig, and then they hit him again, started doing the jig, and they just hit him again. But that
I
shit
was
was
having
funny.
I was having too much fun watching this match.
But there was great near. I love the near falls on the Euro clutch that Zach did twice. His Euro clutch, because usually in New Japan, I've seen him fucking do that move in New Japan many a times and beat guys that you'd never expect him to beat. So those were great near falls. But um, the finish came from Shibata hit a PK on Daniel Garcia, and Orange pushed Shibata out of the ring. Um, and I believe I think he gave him a crucifix pin attempt to Daniel Garcia and rolled him up for the victory. Orange Cassidy retained. I'm very happy about that. And that continues this run. They did mention a cool stat on commentary saying that he has now tied Jade Cargill's record of 25 defenses in AEW. And I'd say I'd probably have him break it. Just have him probably maybe Wednesday or something. He defends it against somebody. And I mean, it's they could do that. They could have him defend it against somebody, win to break the record. Um, and then that's when you work towards. Because I really do think that the best person to put it on is either Takeshita, Jay White, or somebody that like. I thought Swerve was a great option. But
100%. It would
but
have
I
been a
think
really
it's still
great option.
and they can still go back to that because Orange pulled his tights to win. So Swerve has some sort of a reason for a rematch. He kind of got screwed. Um, I just laugh because Taz just put out a fucking a clip of the Jungle Boy thing, and he says he fucked up. Um,
Well,
but
little bit.
he did
that
fuck
was
up.
a. I was so happy. I predicted. I was like,
Wait.
do we
But
think?
before we get to that, because we're going there next. But that's after the fatal four. Garcia got out of the ring. All three champions just like showed respect in the ring, and then they like. And the one thing that was very curious to me was Zack Sabre Jr. said, "We're not. I'm not done with you, you orange bollocks. I'm not done with you." So I could really see Orange and Zack getting a singles match at some point. But
All in?
that ended that, and then we moved on to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Sonata. And one of the best parts of this match, which I was not expecting, is that they brought in Red Shoes Uno to officiate this match because it was an IWGP Heavyweight title match, and that was awesome. I mean, he was probably going to go there anyway because his son was on the show, and Shota Umino. But yeah, great stuff. Bringing in Red Shoes. The crowd loved it. I mean, before the match even got, both guys had to stop and basically acknowledge Red Shoes. Acknowledge Red Shoes. He's the real tribal chief.
Yeah, because Red
They were
Shoes
saying
is so
we
over.
love. They would chant Red Shoes, and they would chant "We love Red Shoes." So that was pretty cool.
I bet Red Shoes did not expect that. To be honest.
Yeah.
You gotta love when the referees get some love.
It was. I mean, Red Shoes is my favorite referee in the business. I mean, the guy is second to none. I'll never forget that one G1. My first G1 that I ever watched, where Tama Tonga was cheating the entire tournament. And like near the latter end of the tournament, he cheated again, and Red Shoes knew it. So he goes 1, 2. He stops counting. He looks Tama Tonga dead in the eyes and goes, and then throws the match out. I thought that was one of the fucking greatest referee spots I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, anyway, we had Sonata and Jungle Boy here. These two worked well. I mean, a lot of it's funny because these two guys are very similar in their career paths. Um, basically, a lot of people. I mean, both guys are second. I mean, both guys are fucking great in the ring. I mean, everyone knows that. And if you watch them, I mean, they're very good at the basics. They're great in the ring, but a lot of people have always had this notion that Sonata was one of the most. A lot of people didn't get Sonata because people would say he's boring. people would say his moveset wasn't good enough. There was nothing to him. They wouldn't understand him. He was boring. But then he just reinvented himself and he became champion. And I mean, it's what he needed. And he really won a lot of people over. He won me over a long time, like 3 years before he changed his whole character up. But that's the same thing people say about Jungle Boy, that he's boring. He's great in the ring, but he's boring with the character. There's nothing to get invested in. But just like Sonata here, and this is probably my, besides anything in the match, this is probably my favorite thing after the angle, is that now we're gonna have Jungle Boy do the exact same thing Sonata did. Reinvent himself, change his character, and become a bigger star for it. And it's pretty poetic that he was in the ring with Sonata. But just going back to the match was good.
Oh yeah, it was 100%.
Yeah.
It was nice.
The match was good. Both guys worked very well with each other. I like the spot with the Paradise Lock, because a lot of people haven't seen that before. He does it in every match, Sonata. I mean, he does it so much.
Move, but
I've always wanted to be put in it to see how this works, because I've heard like it's an actual thing, like in martial arts. I knew about that thing, that Paradise, like before I even watched New Japan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but yeah, I loved the spot where Jungle Boy he dodged the Muda moonsault, and he got into Skull. He transitioned into Sonata's own move, Skull End, his finish, which is the Dragon Sleeper, and then they traded Poison Ranas. And I loved how the crowd came up when Sonata did the Skull End, and he started doing the swing, because that's very common for him to do in matches in New Japan. But yeah, really cool stuff there. But yeah, Sonata. The one thing that was shocking to me is that Sonata did win the match with the Muda moonsault. That was his old finish.
Mm-hmm.
He's been using a new finish now called the Deadfall, which is basically like it's just like a DDT where he wraps his arm around your neck and over your arm and stuff. But yeah, and he like spikes you. So I'm surprised he didn't put him away with the Deadfall, his new finish. But he won with the Muda moonsault, and the bell was late, so I don't think the timekeeper expected that to be the finish. I don't know if Jungle Boy didn't know. But yeah, he won with the Muda moonsault, and I thought this was a fine match. It was pretty good. And yeah, it was a great opportunity for Jungle Boy. But after the match, where it became the real story, we had Hook and Jungle Boy go up to the ramp. They were cutting back to the announce table, like they were gonna go to the next video package. But before we got back there, Jungle Boy got his hand raised by Hook, and as that happened, Jungle Boy clotheslines Hook and puts him down, and here we are, the heel turn of Jungle Boy.
Once they cut back to the ramp, I was like, something's happening.
Yeah, once they cut back to once they showed them, once they cut off Sonata's music and they were walking up to him, like, all right, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, thank you for spoiling this for me, because I was on like a 90-second delay because I had to pause to get food.
Don't look at your phone.
That too.
It's my fault because I had to pee like right at the end of that match.
Pause
So
is like when the homies are watching.
well, actually, no, that one I didn't pause. I just rewound to see what happened. Then I, fast forwarded back. But
yeah,
a little bit.
And then you were like on like a minute delay for the rest of the night.
Which I did not get anything spoiled. So
surprisingly,
I was good. Well, I'm very good at not checking Twitter during shows.
Don't check
so.
Snapchat.
Yeah,
I had my phone face down. So
but yeah. Anyway,
Hollywood
Jungle Boy.
Jack Perry.
So yeah, we finally have the heel Jack Perry that we've been waiting for
Wait,
a long time.
He's getting a new theme song, because that's
absolutely. He can't use that thing anymore. It's like Ruby Soho. She can't use that fucking song anymore.
Yeah.
You kidding me? It's too babyface, and that's the thing too. I want to get into this, but after Jungle Boy hit Hook, Taz blew up on commentary, and they cut back to Taz, and they were like, "Fucking Jungle Boy's a dead man. He doesn't know what the fuck he just did." So I would actually like to see Taz get involved. Like maybe like be not Hook's manager, but like come down to the ring and like instead of Hook doing a promo, have
I
Jungle
thought
Boy do a promo against Taz.
I was expecting Taz to like walk up the ramp as soon as that happened, and just
I
be
would
like
have liked that.
Which he did acknowledge.
Jungle Boy
He
like what
which
what the fuck?
which he did acknowledge. He said, "Listen, that's a grown ass man. Hook's a
Yeah.
grown ass man. That's not his fight." So but he didn't. But after Hook got dropped by Jungle Boy went up to the crowd. He's like, "Oh, what? You booing me? You booing me?" And he's throwing. And then he did this. He did one of these. He's like basically saying that's fucking over. And yeah, he was relishing. He was reveling in the boos of the crowd. The crowd was because the crowd's been ready to turn on this guy for weeks now. So
Oh, yeah.
we're glad they're all glad it finally happened. But now this is the birth of heel Jack Perry, Hollywood Jack Perry. Um, and now what I see here is Jungle Boy is going to be dropped. I think the name Jungle Boy. I think this is the last Jungle Boy match. I think the gear is gone. I think the music's gone. I think I think that he's gonna show up in a suit. His hair. He's not. I don't know if he's gonna shave his head, but like get a crew cut or something. But he could maybe in a ponytail or something like that. But he's gonna look different. If it was up to me, I'd give him Anna. Because
Oh, he already has that.
well, yeah, but I'm saying I give him Anna on television because she can't do anything in terms of the JAS because she doesn't have a tag partner anymore in Ty because Ty's going to be out no less than a year, due to the baby. So she's really the only woman in her own faction. So I give him Anna, to just walk around with, kind of almost like Sammy and Ty. They'll be hated. But yeah. Hollywood Jack Perry. I mean, this is the easiest layup gimmick you could do. Do you know where I'm from? Do you know who my dad is? Do you know what I have done in my life? Do you know?
Man, so many dead dad.
Do you know what?
Gonna be on
Do
the
you
fucking
know what
shows now.
school? Do you know what school I went to? This is literally the biggest layup ever. He's because I always said he could be a fucking great scumbag piece of shit. This guy, Jack Perry.
See, like as soon as he says, "Do you know who my dad is?" the crowd's gonna chant "dead."
I don't
That's
think they're gonna
I'm
do
here
that.
for it. I'm here for it.
fucking wild, man.
I'm a sick bastard. I'm here for that.
I think we all are, to be honest.
Yep.
Well, we watch wrestling, so we are sick bastards.
Yep. But yeah, I really enjoyed that angle. I really loved them getting Taz involved and basically issuing him in on and saying how he's Jungle Boy's a dead man and something. So this is very intriguing because I'm very excited. This is the most excited I've been about Jungle Boy in a while, and I'm very excited to see what Jack Perry looks like on Dynamite and how he responds to this. I have a feeling like that segment's going to be him killing the Jungle Boy character.
He's gonna
throwing
come
up,
out with
like,
new gear.
new music, everything.
Do we get something license or do we get?
I absolutely believe he's going to get some license. You can't go from licensed to non-licensed.
Question. Has there ever been an instance where a wrestler comes out to a theme and then exits under their new theme, or no?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's one time.
that's
forgot
happened.
who.
Okay.
That happened with. Well, actually, in New Japan, they did it. Well, not they did it. They do it. He doesn't really do it because he's in six mans all the time. But
Yeah.
Suzuki, he has an entrance theme and an exit theme in New Japan. Like when he was in the G1 that I watched, I remember I was always trying to find his exit theme. Funnily enough, El Phantasmo, they played the wrong theme for his entrance. And then they played the right one when he won. So there's that. But there is somebody that I forgot what happened, but there was a certain instance where somebody came in, they turned heel within the match, and then went out to a new theme.
Yeah.
I forgot who that is, but yeah, that's happened before.
Okay, I was just curious. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they did that with him.
It's like I don't think that they would have him come out. Well, maybe they might have him come out to Tarzan Boy on.
You got to do it one last time for the fans.
Well, we'll see, because I don't know, because that's not gonna work. That can't work for a baby.
Just
For
one last
for a
time,
heel.
and then like
Yeah.
he
Because
goes
like
he
like
pretty
Ruby
much,
Soho.
well, it's like you do it like this, like of course he's probably gonna come out and we're gonna hear um we're gonna hear from them, and so like we're gonna hear from Jungle Boy, and he's gonna come out to Tarzan Boy, be like,
But by the way,
I don't, they're not right. I know.
by the way, on the scrum,
Oh.
Sting and Darby.
Okay.
Hmm.
I thought you were addressing comments for a moment, but
Nah.
like, you know, I hear myself. So
But yeah,
bless you.
Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, you're good.
staying on the media scrum, I just want to say this here. He says he's feeling well, no injuries. Says he's looking forward to be part of All In. So Sting's good. Glad to
Nice.
hear. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't wait to see how this guy is presented now. So we'll see.
Yeah. And
But
that,
after this, we had the 10-man tag team match between the Elite, Hangman Page, Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii versus the Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley, Wheeler Yuta,
storytelling.
Claudio Castagnoli, Shota Umino, and Konosuke Takeshita. No Don Callis with Takeshita, which would be evident. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I loved the Blackpool Combat Club's entrance. They entered through Mox's New Japan theme. So that was pretty cool to see. I love watching Shota fucking walk out with them. It's like this guy just he got kidnapped by a guy and ended up having a great time and said, "Fuck it, this is my life now." So that's Shota for you. But yeah, listen, Takeshita looks like fucking. I mean, this guy looks like he looks like fucking Albert Wesker. He looks like Jay White, like early Jay White with that fucking leather coat on. The guy looks like $1,000,000, dude. This guy's gonna be a world champion one day. Takeshita. But yeah, the match started off with Claudio and Eddie Kingston in the ring, but immediately Claudio tagged out to Shota, and Eddie tagged out to Hangman. And Hangman and Shota, I would love to see a singles match between Hangman and Shota Umino. But yeah, this was also cool to see Eddie work with Shota too. They're not in the same block in the G1, but him and Tomohiro Ishii are. So we'll see how that works. Because I mean, he respects Ishii because they fucking fought. They beat the shit out of each other multiple times.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, as Zach said earlier, the storytelling in this match was crazy. This was a batshit crazy, insane match. This was balls to the wall. I'm not even gonna attempt to run down every fucking spot I thought that I loved in this match, because I loved the spot. But there was a great spot where Kingston got in the ring, he tagged in, and then Moxley tagged in, and the entire crowd came up. And it was so fucking cool. And they went to a chop fest. Everybody's fighting. The Bucks are doing fucking tiaras and fucking tornillos outside. They're fucking still slapping each other. Fucking Takesha's throwing Ishii to the barricade. They're still slapping each other. It was like two fucking titans fighting, and everything's fucking falling apart around them. It was really cool.
So I'm watching with my brother. We have 3 of our friends over. That spot in general popped us so hard. We were hysterically laughing.
Yeah, there was an unreal spot where fucking Takeshita literally walked in the ring, smashed Ishii in the fucking head, and I thought this guy was knocked the fuck out. I'm
Same.
like, holy
Ishii
shit!
Just slumped.
That was crazy.
I forgot to mention this about Jungle Boy, but Danhausen tweeted, "Hook, Danhausen would never do that to Jungle Man. Will never do what Jungle Man Jack Jerry did. And then Jungle Boy responded, "What? Have a good match? Fuck you." So Jungle Boy's already, and the top comment is live Christian Cage reaction. Uh, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, knowing that they were right. Fucking, hey, Christian was right. Up at the media scrum. Apparently Jericho showed up, and apparently he threw a water ball at Sting. But Chris Jericho just crashed the scrum and challenged Sting and Darby to a tornado tag match at AEW Dynamite. Sammy and not Jericho, but the Painmaker. So Painmaker, Jericho, and Sammy Guevara versus Sting and Darby on Dynamite. Pretty cool.
Interesting.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, there was that spot where he knocked Ishii the fuck out. There was also a great spot where Kingston and was trying to get to his corner, and Mox wouldn't let him. Because Mox had no problem beating the shit out of Kingston. Kingston was kind of
Kingston's reaction was like, "Why, man?
yeah.
Why?"
There was an unreal spot. This might have been my favorite spot of the match. Takeshita went for the Takeshita line where he hits the ropes and then he jumps. But this was so perfectly timed. He jumped and did the Takeshita line, and fucking Hangman literally did a rolling elbow, and they timed it perfect. It was amazing. There was another great spot where the Bucks got in the ring. They were super kicking the shit out of everybody. They were about to super kick Moxley on his knees, but Eddie pushed Moxley out of the way and took the super kick, and they were like, "Whoa, what the fuck?"
Honda, to answer your question, do you guys think Chris Hero is coming to AEW? Because I've been waiting, but I'm starting to doubt. If the reports from Double or Nothing, I think it was, or like one of the Chicago shows.
It was Collision.
Oh, Collision, yeah, it was the Collision. I think he would be like a heater for Blackpool Combat Club. He would be like their.
They already have. I mean, the whole group are heaters.
Well, like
Yeah, kind of.
You have your Hoss.
Claudio's the Hoss.
Yeah.
Claudio is a lean, mean Hoss.
Listen, I like Chris Hero, but Chris Hero does not fit the Blackpool Combat Club. I would love to see a Kings of Wrestling reunion, like a one time only like Kings of Wrestling tag team match with him and Claudio, maybe like Ring of Honor or something like that. But listen, Chris Hero hasn't wrestled in 3 years. He's not retired.
He's not retired. Seminars, so
he's seminars and he still trains, but hasn't wrestled in 3 years. And I wouldn't have a problem with them using him, but it's not like he's gonna show up and start winning titles and fucking being in the BCC in major angles. Like that's not what Chris Hero is at. I mean, Chris Hero's a lot. I mean, I would like Chris Hero in Ring of Honor. I'd have no problem with that.
I think Chris Hero is gonna pop up in AEW. I think probably towards All Out, because All Out is in Chicago this year. Again.
Yes, in the United Center. Not the Now Arena anymore.
So I think we're probably gonna get Chris Hero around that time.
Maybe, but anyway, the ending of the match, we had.
Don't forget about the spot of they were gonna go for the super kicks to Mox, and then Eddie.
Yes, I said that. I said that already. Yeah. So yeah, they pushed Eddie. Eddie put. I mean, they pushed Mox out the way, and then Eddie took the brunt of the fucking what's it called? Super kicks. But the finish was everybody was outside the ring. Ishii hit the vertical drop brainbuster on Wheeler Yuta and picked up the win for the elite team. And yeah, I thought it was cool that let Ishii take the victory here. I thought that was really cool. And what I said on the pre-show, mission accomplished. Takeshita was the MVP of that match. He looked the best. He had the most hard-hitting spots. He looked like a fucking megastar in there. He held his own. But yeah, they didn't pin him. They didn't fucking they didn't job him out. But Takeshita looked great in there. So yeah, great stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. After this, we
we had the AEW Women's World Championship match between Willow Nightingale and Tony Storm. Which this was a very, very good match.
Mhm.
A lot of great, very hard hitting between these two. Saraya and Ruby Soho were down there with Tony Storm. Um, Early into the match, not early on, like about the middle of the match, Tony's nose got busted. But there was a great spot where Willow hit a Death Valley driver to Tony on the apron. Great stuff on that. I love the moonsault. She missed it, but I love the moonsault from Willow. It reminds me of Keith Lee's moonsault. Um, but yeah, uh, fucking the hip attack in the corner always looks like a fucking semi truck hitting people. But the finish came from Soraya and Ruby got ejected. Uh, and by the time I believe they came they try to run back and the ref was distracted. Tony gouged Willow's eyes and hit the Storm Zero to pin her. So yeah, no Mercedes Moné appearance, which I wasn't really uh expecting. I thought it could happen, but wasn't really expecting. That could happen later. Wembley, maybe. I don't know how that recovery is gonna work, but yeah, yeah. Tony retains. That was never in doubt. Willow still has her title. They mentioned the Julia call out on commentary, so Willow's probably gonna have to be in Japan to do that match, or unless Julia comes over, which is rare. I don't think she's done that.
Well, it depends,
But
really. What now?
Osprey on the scrum,
Oh boy.
and he's hold on.
Still covered in his own blood.
He's cleaned up. It's just he's
Ah,
saying
boo.
he, he he's what he said. Oh yeah, I don't have a transcript of what he said, but he's been saying this a lot, but like that how he might not be able to do this style for much longer, and he's thinking about retirement. But all wrestlers say that, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Well, maybe.
How old is he?
Osprey,
Yeah.
he's 30. Well, Osprey. He is 30.
Oh, I didn't realize him and Jay White were the same age.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's wild. So the what was after Willow and
What
Good
was
match.
after Willow
Well,
and Tony
bro.
Storm? Are you
You're
serious?
asking with-
Christian, Zach, before I throw this to you, I just want to say one thing about this match. God damn, this was fucking beautiful.
All right, so what we had after the women's match was,
Beautiful.
in my opinion, one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. The new match of the year. And it so happens to be with the same two human beings. We had, for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, we had Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega. And
I have a
first off,
theory.
first,
I want to
first off,
mention.
first off, before we get into the match, just talk about the entrance. Will Ospreay entered to a basically like a riot scene vignette of Canada doing riots, and then he had a bunch of TVs. He was watching a bunch of TVs.
Did you guys notice the botch in that?
What botch?
No.
So they had the thing on the graphic, Canada protest, and then they had the freaking small graphic in the blue or whatever right above it, and it literally said Detroit.
Same thing. But anyway, so Ospreay was looking at clips of the TV of the Wrestle Kingdom match. He was like wincing. He was like wincing of every time he got hit by, and he was getting the shit
Goddamn.
knocked out of him by Kenny. But then you heard the chirps of Elevation in the background, and then the lights go out. He looks at the camera. Lights go dark. Elevation comes on. So he's just like Wrestle Kingdom. He came out to Elevation, not Zenith of God, But yeah, he comes out accompanied by Don Callis and his security men that he hired for Osprey, his top of the line military grade security.
It's
But
absolutely insane.
Osprey, he was announced as the aerial assassin, not the Commonwealth Kingpin. But holy shit, what an entrance! With Don and Osprey. That's a winning combination, and
Oh, it
they look
definitely
real.
is.
They really look real good together. Then we had Kenny Omega's entrance. Kenny Omega came out to Devil's Sky, his New Japan theme song, which was really cool because I love that song because it's based off of one of my favorite songs of all time, One Winged Angel from Final Fantasy VII, which is Sephiroth's theme song, which he came out to at Wrestle Kingdom. Kenny Omega came out to Devil's Sky, One Winged Angel Rebirth from Final Fantasy VII Remake, the greatest video game ever made. But anyway, I digress. They had so the match started off. I do want to say this about the match. It was something I noticed very clearly. They were pacing themselves because they were going to go along, but that one sequence in the beginning where it was so fast, they were dodging everything. That one sequence, like the first 3 minutes of the match, I'm like, yeah, that's when you know you're about to get a great Kenny Omega and a great Will Ospreay match when they do that fucking little sequence before. Because what it is not them doing that randomly. That's teasing you and telling you you're about to see that for the next. You're about to see that 30 minutes from now at the end of the match for about 10 minutes. It's like a tease. Like, all right, just wait. It's like to whet your appetite, and it always gets the crowd going. Um, brutal stuff in the opening minutes of this match. They both got their spots in. They were doing their big moves. They would be a flash as quick of one of their big moves, but it really started getting going when Kenny Omega hit the. I believe he hit the Terminator dive to the outside to Osprey, and they were outside for a little bit, and Osprey ends up getting Kenny's head, and he starts slamming his fucking head into the cover of the announce table, which was a reference to the Wrestle Kingdom match they had with the Japanese table, because Kenny took a Japanese table and bashed Will Ospreay's fucking skull through the goddamn table. He blew blood all over the place. He bashed his fucking head through a table. And let me tell you something about those Japanese tables. That shit is not an American table. That shit will cut you. That shit will not break. That shit will fucking hurt.
If it breaks, it's gonna break in the most awkward
I'll never
way
forget.
possible.
Yeah, it's like I never forget Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega in the G1 final when Naito gave Kenny a pile driver through the table and his head went through. And the table didn't break. Table standing up and his fucking head went through.
That was
and Lance Archer and John Moxley at Wrestle Kingdom. I think it was a Wrestle Kingdom when they had the Texas Death Match. Fucking Lance Archer, fucking his whole back got fucking sliced.
They also
and
got
he
the
needed
Kenta
stitches.
spot as well. Kenta has.
Well, that wasn't a table. That was from a ladder. No, because they don't use gimmick ladders. They use real deal fucking metal ass ladders there. That was from actually no, that wasn't even from the ladder. He got tossed off the ladder. That was from one of the metal garbage pails.
Okay.
He fell into it and the whole thing got sliced up, and yeah, it was fucked up. But yeah, so Osprey starts bashing Kenny's skull into the thing. He definitely gigged Kenny, so Kenny came up bloody.
And he also brought Kenny because he then took the cover off the announce table, propped up against the ring, and then just drove Kenny's head straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
This then would they would
Osprey
go back into the ring. What?
Obviously, Osprey though, this fucking guy had Kenny's blood on his bicep, and he went to his bicep and fucking licked it. And they said,
right off.
There was that he said there was a "you sick fuck" chant. Just
and
saying,
deservedly so.
Osprey said at the scrum says he would love to be booked for All In at Wembley, and he will be there regardless. He's gonna be on that show.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Trilogy.
Hell, give us a saga.
Osprey said he wants Naomichi Marufuji, and that ball is in Noah's court. Ooh.
Okay. So like they fight. They would end up fighting some more. Then we get to the outside.
Yeah.
And
the spot so there was I can't remember everything that was in this match because this shit was so fucking great. But before
was just
Osprey got
deep
bloodied
down.
up, he threw Kenny back into the barricade, and he started joy jacking with these little ass kids, and he ended up taking somebody's Canadian flag
And
and
did the
started
Shawn
fucking.
Michaels.
He started doing that with the Canadian flag, and then Kenny
Wiping his
got the upper hand.
nose.
Yeah, Kenny ended up he picked his boogers with it. Kenny ended that got big heat. Kenny up reversing it. He fucking put it around his neck, started tossing around. He hung him with it. He gave it back to the kids who wasn't even the ones he took the flag from. But
Yeah,
hey,
seriously.
I don't think
and
that guy cared at that point.
yeah, you could buy a new flag.
Yeah.
But the great part about it was you could hear it faintly. The whole crowd wasn't here. It was only like a section, but you could hear it faintly. The fucking crowd started singing the Canadian national anthem, and like I heard the end of it. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. But
They went through the whole thing. God.
Yeah.
I somehow didn't hear a single second of that.
yeah, I heard the tail end of it. But that was fucking funny.
Then Kenny would do a V trigger into the barricade as well to Osprey, but Osprey mainly caught the shin of
Yes.
of Omega.
Omega.
This would then lead to the steps, and this is where from what Excalibur said, what Tony Schiavone said, and what Kevin Kelly said, the smell of iron filled that small section of the arena.
The smell of iron. He's like the smell of iron punctuates.
That like
I-
I wonder like if that was partially true because there was a lot of fucking blood.
Yes.
Yeah, there was also I do want to say this too, that this after this spot I'm about to say, this is when this crowd really started getting into it.
Mm.
So Kenny, we forgot to mention this as well. Early on in the match, Don tried to protect Osprey from a V trigger, but
Bam.
Kenny did it anyway, and Don ended up getting thrown out. So
But
Don
not
was
the
thrown out
security.
right into yeah. But
Well, hey,
back
the
to
security didn't do shit.
Yeah, back to the spot. Which actually, the security guards are actually AEW security. That's why they have the mask so high because they're easily recognizable. I
Mhm.
know who I could tell who both those guys were.
Yeah.
But Kenny ends up taking the steel steps and putting them on its side. He brings Will Ospreay up, and fucking. But actually, before that, he ends up starts bashing Osprey's fucking skull into the fucking steel steps, and his blood all over. He's bleeding all over the place. He's fucking bleeding like a stuffed pig. He's got a crimson mask, and then he brings him up and DDTs him onto the steel steps. That was a great spot.
I say this a lot about Sunrise, but I love the way that Osprey bled because the way
Yeah.
he bleeds, he sells it as if he's dying. That's how like Osprey sells him like gigging
Yeah.
or even a hard way, and he up and sells it as if he's like legit like just dying there.
Yeah. But
What now?
What happened?
I was just checking the scrum.
Okay.
Nothing, no updates yet. But yeah. So Osprey and Omega get back in the ring, and Osprey was bleeding like a fucking he was bleeding profusely, and this guy Kenny, he put him in a triangle and started elbowing him in the head, so blood was just pouring all over Omega, and it looked great. The fucking the mat was a fucking complete. It really Kenny with all the stuff, all the shit on his stomach. It looks like the video game
Oh yeah.
when you can like in the video game when you have all the blood, because I mean Kenny was championing that on Twitter, so like, you can make this shit look like a fucking crime scene. I'm like, all right, Kenny. But yeah, so that was great. There was a great spot where he gave. I mean, the V triggers were fucking snappy in this match. He was hitting all of them. There was a great spot on the outside where Osprey hit a Sky Twister press to get perfectly executed. Just calling back to his old high flyer roots. And during that time, after this, Don showed back up. He was thrown out, but I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do? Fine him? Or he was risking DQ of Osprey, but I mean, they didn't really care. But Osprey was so out of it, and Omega was out of it, but Don was trying to wake him up. So what Don ended up doing was he tried to get on the mat, and the ref came down to try to kick out Don Callis. But as he's doing that, he takes the screwdriver that he turned on Kenny Omega with, handed it to Osprey. Fucking Omega gets Osprey up for the one-winged angel. Osprey's like, "What the fuck?" And he stabs Kenny Omega in the head with the screwdriver. hits a hidden blade and hits a Stormbreaker on Omega. I thought this was the end of the match. I thought this was the
Same.
finish. I'm like, fuck finish. 1, 2, Kenny gets his foot on the fucking rope, and when I tell you, this was the greatest near fall I have ever seen. Ever.
Mm-hmm.
And
100% agree with that.
I cannot think of any other near fall that I've ever seen that was as great as this. The only one I could think of is the G1 Climax Finals 2 years ago with Sonata and Kota Ibushi. Sonata had Ibushi on an O'Connor roll, and I never seen a. People say 2.99. This was fucking. Literally, if you inched your finger like this, I couldn't explain how close it was. The crowd was like, "What the?" It was back when it was the midst of COVID and there was no cheering allowed, and the crowd was like, "Oh, fucking!" It was crazy.
Holding back as much as possible.
Yeah, they didn't hold back at all. They were, oh, because you hear that fucking. I mean, it was nuts. That was the biggest. That was the best near fall I've ever seen. Until then, until this. I mean, it could have been at WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, but that's I digress. But this was the greatest near fall I've ever seen. Greatest near fall I've ever seen. This guy hit both his finishes. You had a fucked finish with the screwdriver already in place, but this guy gets his foot on the fucking rope. Are you fucking serious? And I just to finish this was kind of a callback to the second match between Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada, where Don was obviously present. He was on commentary for that match. But Kenny, for the first time ever, hit the one-winged angel on Okada. Everyone thought it was over. Okada gets his foot on the rope.
Well,
And that it was the only time, really, anyone ever got out of the one-winged angel besides...
We have
out.
the craziest sequence. Osprey hits a V trigger, then picks up Omega for the one-winged angel, kicks out at 1.
Dude, this guy Osprey hit a one-winged angel on Kenny Omega, and this motherfucker kicks out at 1. The crowd came up because this was obviously a reference to the Revolution one.
Oh yeah.
But he kicked out. He fucking starts firing. He's like, I'm like, I stood up. I was like, get the fuck out of here. This guy kicked out at 1. This is the best kick out I've ever seen. They had the best near fall, the best kick out of it. I couldn't fucking believe what I was watching. I could not believe what the fuck I was seeing right now. And once he kicked out, I look at him, I'm like, this is the greatest match. This is the match of the year. This they already topped themselves after these two things at Wrestle Kingdom.
Like how they do it, don't fucking know. I'm so happy I was able to watch the Wrestle Kingdom match live as it was happening. And I got to watch this match.
And I was acting like, listen, I was even more emotional than that because he did my dream entrance that day. I was fucking screaming like a little fucking boy at fucking it's 6 a.m. in the morning. So, oh my God. I woke my fucking mom up and she understood because she walked down and she saw fucking this guy, my favorite wrestler, dressed up as my favorite character, coming out to my favorite song. I'm like, all right, well, yeah, you have a reason. I mean, this guy, I'll never forget. I still have that fucking entrance saved. That is the greatest fucking entrance of all time. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Fucking guy coming out of Sephiroth, you fucking kidding me? You gonna lose? Fuck that. Fuck out of here. But anyway,
though,
but yeah, so he kicks out at 1 of this one-winged angel, but then they start going at it for a little bit, and then that was the best part. Kenny gets up and they start trading fucking blows. Fucking Japanese wrestling fighting spirit. You stand in the middle of the ring and you fucking trade blows. If I got asked this question once, like, what would you equate a move to, like a culture of wrestling? So like American wrestling, what's valued? Entrances and finishes. What's valued in Japanese wrestling? Fighting spirit. And the biggest reactions usually in Japanese wrestling is, besides the finish, is 2 guys standing in the ring trading blows. And it's amazing. This was so out of this world, but the finish ended up being Kenny Omega. He ended up. I forgot what the exact finish of the match was, but uh, Osprey hit a hidden blade on Kenny, picked him up for the Stormbreaker, and put him down finally. Osprey has regained his IWGP United States Championship and has defeated Kenny Omega for the first time. They are now one apiece, and let me tell you something, this is the match of the year. This will not be topped unless they do this again at Wembley. That's it. The only two guys that can top this match are them. That's it.
I did not.
This is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen.
I did not think this match was going to be as bloody as it was. So when everything just, I was like, God. And after this, we led into the cooldown.
Hold on. I said this before we got fully into this match, and I will say it one more time. Fucking beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
This was pro wrestling at its finest.
Yes.
If this don't break the scale, I don't know what will.
If Meltzer doesn't give this 5 stars, I might go on a freaking manhunt just to punch him.
Yeah, this was incredible. Incredible shit here from these two. Just a little note here. Tony Storm is on the scrum, and now Bryan Danielson is on the scrum. Bryan Danielson tells us that he didn't actually ask for the final countdown. It was Tony Khan's idea. And Bryan is actually wearing a cast, not a cast, but like one of those like big arm braces.
Mm.
So yeah, I think he's just selling. But we'll get into that.
So,
but yeah,
now was final. Do you think they would say final countdown for like big events then, or is Tony now have the rights to final countdown?
Depends, and that's another thing that I'm not concerned about. But we talked about it during Jungle Boy. I guess we could just talk about it now. But that is such a crowd-friendly song. But Bryan is probably the top 3 heel in the company right now.
He's like more in that tweener phase because he has never
kind of, but not for this feud. I would say
it all depends really. It
depends on what feud he's in, and it can work because like Wild Thing is a crowd-friendly song. Yeah. Fucking if the Elite ever turned heel, Carry On Wayward Son would be a crowd-friendly song. Fucking Judas. I mean, Jericho's been a heel for forever now. It's a crowd-friendly song.
Also,
but
remember, like Jericho also owns that song, so he can.
Well, yeah, like, I'm saying, just like not changing songs at all. But I don't know if it's a one-time thing for this show. I hope not. But it makes sense why they got it after the news story that came out. And I actually had a vision about this. Like I was like at work, like daydreaming about the match and like his entrance about like Final Countdown because I was listening to the song. Like I just had a feeling that he was gonna get it, and then that news report article came out. I'm like, holy shit!
They have to use it at All In.
Oh, I think
65,000.
I think they have it for good. I think they have it for good now.
Like it could be the one time you use like a lot of themes where like what you had Many Men be a one time deal.
Many Men, yeah, that Many Men that was a one time use at UBS, but they're petitioning to get are petitioning to get that song for them after how great their entrances have been. And I don't know how much that song costs because that's a very popular song. So
I think right now if Tony Khan could afford the new price tag on Final Countdown, I'm almost positive he could afford like just the Many Men song. He could.
Mm-hmm. He could probably do it. Well, it depends on how much Final Countdown was now after it's been sold. It could be fucking nothing.
True.
Because he sold half his library, the guy.
I'm surprised he put Final Countdown.
What happened?
There was an I saw in your face. What?
Bryan Danielson has a fractured forearm, 6 to 8 week recovery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He will
miss blood and guts.
Unfortunately.
One. 2, 3, 4. So that'll be 4 weeks. Blood and
unless
guts.
unless he recovers in that time. We don't
Unless
know.
they does it. Unless he does it, but very safely.
I don't know who would you get to fill in for him then.
So you have it would be Mox, Claudio, Yuta,
Chris
Takeshita.
Hero.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yuta.
Shooter.
Oh wait, no, they can't do that. Excuse me, they can't do that.
You're gonna
Neither
work
they
shooters to be booked.
They can't do Eddie Kingston either, because they'll both be in the G1.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think around Blood and Guts, because that'll
They
be.
should just Blood and Guts hasn't been officially announced yet. They could delay that shit.
I wouldn't delay that after the arena already advertised it.
Yeah.
They advertised it,
I believe so.
but AEW hasn't officially announced it.
AEW hasn't officially announced yet, but the arena.
Yeah,
The
that's
arena.
Yeah, no,
that's a
but
sticky
like
situation.
you can't do that.
Sticky situation.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah,
do
that's
that.
stupid.
That would lead to a lot of refunds in an empty
Shit.
arena.
Well,
'Cause-
I mean, WWE false advertises all the time, or at least they used to.
Yeah,
So-
but look where WWE is. They're like they have an old man back in power.
I'm not.
They were
by
still
the way,
doing
I'm
that
not.
with Triple H either way.
I'm not
At
saying,
that
dude.
point,
I'm
I
not
would,
saying to delay it. I'm not saying that by any means. Do it when you advertise it for.
I think at that point, I would rush Kota Ibushi and rush Chris Hero if those are two possible contenders coming in.
Well,
That's
that
just
wouldn't
me,
be
though.
well. That wouldn't be.
I mean, they have
G1,
3 weeks to build it up.
I mean,
so.
hold up, because the
3
G1,
weeks left.
the G1 ends August 13th. That's when the G1 ends. It starts July 15th.
And Blood and
So-
Guts and that and what that TD Bank. That
Blood and
TD
Guts
Arena
is
show?
19th. It's the 19th. That TD show, July 19th. So Eddie and Shooter would already be gone. They don't have access to them. But so they could just do 5-on-5. They could do fucking Kenny, Matt, Nick, Hangman, and Ibushi versus Mox, Claudio, Yuta, Takeshita, and if Danielson's somehow can go, Danielson. But if not, then I don't know.
This is a very sticky situation.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. I don't know. I really don't know. Oh, Danielson said he had a torn labrum and a compressed vertebrae after the Iron Man match.
God damn.
I
So-
told you guys he was like.
Yeah, we said that. We said after
Oh.
Revolution.
Yeah.
But I will say this as well quickly. There was a indie show, a Defy indie show, a year ago, where Mox wrestled Tom Lawler, and he called Tom a friend of the Blackpool Combat Club. If they want a consolation prize, not a consolation, but like a make good for Tom, bitch, they did tonight. He wrestled Serpentico before the zero hour.
How much wrestling did these people have to sit through?
So
Well, they did like the ROH. No, wait. That was
They
dark
didn't.
match. That was a dark match.
No, they did a dark. Yeah, they just had Tom. They just gave that to Tom. Just
Yeah, they don't
just
like
for that.
They're starting to do like dark matches before and after the show now. Kind of like
Yeah,
how WWE
yeah.
does.
But this one was just literally just for Tom. There was nothing else.
Yeah.
But I could see them doing that because Tom fits with that mold.
And
of a
he
shooter.
he has bled with Mox.
He has. Mox even gave him the blade for the Fred Rosser match he had where he dropped the title, the strong overweight title of Fred Rosser. Mox actually gave him the blade to do for that match, which is funny. But I could see that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Apparently, Brian said, "I didn't want to follow them." Asks Tony when Brian was asked about following Omega Osprey. But anyway,
Smart.
But
So,
yeah.
so then at that point, I guess just rush the Ibushi stuff. to get us.
Well, I
the
wouldn't.
Blood and
You
Guts.
don't have to. Well, you don't have to rush Ibushi because Ibushi's not on the Blackpool Combat Club team.
Well, no,
Um,
I'm talking about for the elite. Just rush him for the elite.
Yeah, but what does he need to be rushed for if he's not on the Combat Club team?
I'm not saying rush him for the combat team.
I'm saying
just rush him for the Blood and Guts if they need that extra person.
Well, he was going to be. I was under the assumption he was going to be in Blood and Guts anyway. That's where I thought that's where all this was headed. When I think in Blood and Guts, I never thought about Ibushi not being in it.
It just all depends though. We also have to put that into perspective. Depends.
But I never thought Ibushi wouldn't be in that match. It just because of where it's set up right now. The story is.
Where the fuck did this kid hear this?
What?
I just got a random ass text saying people are saying this might be Punk's new entrance song, Time Bomb by Rancid.
No. Fucking no. So he did an Instagram. So there was a report that came out that said somebody was pissed off backstage because they thought Punk was a ticking time bomb. So he posted on his story, Punk posted on his story a picture of himself with that song playing. Also, guess what? Punk's really good friend
Lars
is
Fredrickson.
the drummer for Rancid, who did Ruby Soho's entrance. Fucking Lars.
Was it Lars Fredrickson?
Lars Fredrickson. Yeah, him and his kid are fucking. They're in the front row to support Punk all the time. That's no.
Hey, TRB.
Okay, well, I didn't even know about that.
Get a load of this. So, how's it going?
Oh,
TRB Collectibles.
That is Tom.
That's Tom. I'm like,
that is my boy Tom.
Yep.
Hey, Tom.
I completely forgot. I'm not good with remembering the names of people who pop in the chat besides the ones that.
Yes, we are still live.
Surprisingly.
So, just getting quickly into this match after the match of the year. We had.
You want to talk about a cool down match? Jesus.
These guys drew the short straw tonight. We had Minoru Suzuki, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara versus Tetsuya Naito, Sting, and Darby Allin.
They still got the cousin Anita Ray. Wow.
It was so cool to see Naito in there with Sting, and Suzuki in there with Sting. I thought that was fucking awesome. Also Jericho, but yeah, this was. I mean, the crowd. They didn't have the crowd. I mean, whoever had to follow Osprey Omega. I mean, you had. I don't fault any of these guys for not having the crowd in this match. They just followed the match of the year. Bryan Danielson didn't even want to fucking follow these guys, but yeah, there was a lot of rough spots in the match. A lot of cool spots. It was a great spot where they did the pose with Suzuki, Sammy, and Jericho. That was cool.
Fantastic.
The table spot. Do you think Sting was actually supposed to be off the table, but Sammy came in too hot?
I don't think Sammy came in too hot. I just don't think Sting could move that fast off the table. If it was, but there was two ways of thinking I had for that. It's like either Sting couldn't move off the table in time, so he just sold it, or Sting does this shit all the time where he takes like somebody's finish or takes a big move and just completely no sells it, and
Dude,
that's what he did here too. So literally, he could have done. It could have. You could say both of those things for that.
Dude, I still remember last year when he no sold the super kicks, which was a fantastic spot.
Yeah, I'll never forget when they Menard and Park on like their third match in the company. Fucking, they put him through a table and he got right back up.
Yes,
like that. Yeah, but that was funny. But yeah, the match really, it was fun in some spots. There was the great spot where Darby did the dive and then he got hit with the Judas effect. That eliminated Darby from the entire match. But there was some weird spots. Naito, I mean, I hope they give him like a singles match, a high caliber singles match next year.
Yeah,
because he's kind of winding down as well. Talking about retirement, how there's a lot less in front of him than in his past. It just couldn't get out of the first gear. It was fun for what it was, but there was a lot of scary shit in this match that kind of like took away from it. And they didn't have the crowd, which I understood. They just followed. They were put in an impossible situation.
They were legit the bathroom break match because I saw people getting up.
They
That
drew
didn't-
they drew a complete short straw here, and it's no fault of any of these guys.
Yeah.
It was probably for the best because this feud is not over with Sting, Darby, Jericho, and Sammy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
not to be disrespectful to these guys, but this was
yeah,
easily the worst match on the show.
yeah, this was not, and I always and I have no problem with Sting because I like watching Sting for the what's left of we have of him.
Yeah.
We're not going to get a lot of these, so I always appreciate seeing him when I can. But yeah, uh, obviously, I mean, this obviously I said this isn't finished, but yeah, I don't fault any of these guys for this at all because they were in a completely impossible situation.
Mm.
You never know where you're going to be on the card, especially following the most likely the best match of the year. That's when that match is not the main event, that is extremely difficult. But anyway, it's time for the
For the
main
main event.
Before we get into the main event, they did announce though that on Dynamite that they announced that they're gonna do Ruby and Britt on Dynamite, and they said they announced that they're gonna do Joe and Roddy, Hobbs and Dustin, and Starks and Juice on one Collision show. So there's that, but they didn't really announce much for the show, so you'll probably get some Tony Khan tweets this week. But yeah, it's
Can't
time
tell
for the main
Rick
event.
Bischoff that there's no stories.
Yeah. No video package. I need a video package. I don't know who these Japanese guys
They
are.
literally gave one
How about you
on Saturday.
How about you fucking SMD FTB?
I don't know who these Japanese guys are, dude. You booked a fuck ton of Japanese guys in WCW. How the fuck do you not know who these guys are?
Yeah, Bischoff he's made himself irrelevant, but I digress.
Bischoff's been irrelevant since like what? 2020? Wow. Tony
What
Khan did
happened
him a
now,
favor
Christian?
by putting him on the pandemic episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we had the dream match between Kazuchika Okada and Bryan Danielson, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, no fucking way. Fucking way. This guy got this fucking song. Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, enters to the strings of the final countdown.
Imagine if Bryan didn't know up until he walked out.
I mean, that
We
would have been
won't
cool.
know. I hope this is a small segment on season 2 of All Access. I think All Access is getting another season.
You know what I have to say about this though? Hey, Elliot Taylor, read it and weep, motherfucker. Hey, read it and weep.
He worked so hard on this song.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah, boohoo.
It took 2 years to release the song.
Yeah, sayonara, buddy. Nice run. You had a good run. But yeah, well, it's fucking big boy. It's the American Dragon we're dealing with here. It's fucking big boy time. What?
Are you referring to the message we just got in the group chat?
Is this true?
No. Well,
that might be a joke. All right, I think it's a joke.
He might be on his way to the media scrum.
Oh my god.
This is a modern day fucking Bush. This is AEW's 9/11 if that happens. That's fucked up. I shouldn't have said that. But anyway.
Well, you went there, so Jesus.
All bets are off. Fucking what's it called? Anyway, I don't think he's there. I'm looking at Denise's Twitter. He didn't say nothing. Let's go look at yours.
We won't know.
Ugh. So on to the dream match.
Yeah, so we had Okada came out. He had the Okada dollars raining down. Oh no.
He is there?
No.
What?
Danielson says it's probably not smart for him to wrestle in the G1.
Wait, what?
He's just saying that.
fuck.
He's just
Brian
saying
Danielson says he
that.
talks to doctors before every match and asks them what they think of certain moves and spots. He says they're very frank and honest with him and tell him that he can't do certain things. Which I always thought about that about the G1. I'm like, I would listen, Brian Danielson, the G1, but fuck. I mean, for a guy
He's
that's banged up,
just saying that.
that 9 matches in short order, high caliber like that, it's very grueling.
If he's not in the G1, then just put him have him do the multi-man stuff with Blackpool Combat Club.
Not even that. Just have him he doesn't even need to be the G1. Just put him against every big star there. Do Okada, do Osprey, do Naito, do Tanahashi, do fucking
God,
do
Osprey
Sonata.
and Brian.
That'll happen.
Fuck.
Oof. Oh boy.
Yeah, but
We want to
anyway,
talk about
yeah,
technical.
so the-
We also still need Zack Sabre Jr. and
yeah,
Yes.
we do.
Brian.
I just watched him and Nick Gage. I saw Zack Sabre Jr. take a tack bump for the first time. I fucking couldn't believe my eyes. Yeah, so we had Okada come out. The Okada dollars were raining down. That was really cool because he didn't have them last year. But yeah, it was for the Dream Match main event. Crowd was up for this. Holy shit chance. This is wrestling chance. Very, very cool
These
stuff.
guys. These two guys. These two
Both
guys.
these
Oh, yeah,
guys.
Both
great
these
chance.
guys.
Both these guys. But
Great
yeah,
chance.
so
And we
I-
also got you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in.
yeah, you're gonna get your fucking head kicked in,
Yes.
which they it was
Second
kind of
time.
which they said this on commentary, but this was very, very reminiscent of the Kenny Omega Bryan Danielson Arthur Ashe match, and I was in attendance, and I can attest to it really felt that way.
Mhm.
But listen, the match was paced. The match was paced exactly like an Okada match. It starts very slow, and then this is what people don't understand about Okada. Okada is a very simple wrestler. He is the best at the basics. But this is how Okada matches go. They're a hill. They go up. That's it. They start slow. They go up. And that's what we got in this match. All the spots here were. I mean, it's like they were not. I'm not saying they were wrestling careful, but every spot felt felt meticulously they both they were wrestling calculated. Like they knew what how big of a situation they were in. And
This one's fucked up, but
I love the spot
let's-
where they went to the crowd. Okada does that where he jumps into the crowd. Hopefully he doesn't fucking break his fucking foot and
Oh,
have
he
to.
didn't hit anybody there is impressive.
Yeah.
check the group chat.
Oh dear.
All right.
Oh dear lord.
Truly was
They-
9/11.
They don't hit the Omega. See, I wish they had the fucking fight with the Lucha Bros. He don't hit the Pentagon. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Listen. I saw a meme with Mater, and it was like, "Dang on, they don't hit a Pentagon." I'm sorry. But anyway, there was a great spot where where the Murder Kazu came out, where he gets hit enough and he gets like, "Oh," and then he gets into this headspace and he starts fucking going at Brian.
Brian also scared the shit out of me when he was convulsing.
The tombstone. So yeah, then we got to the point where Okada caught Danielson on a dive. Really, gave him a tombstone pile driver on the ramp, and Okada brings him back into the ring. Oh, Danielson's convulsing. He's convulsing like he's having a seizure. And I'm like, holy shit, is this fucking guy good? Because it reminded me of NXT when Adam Cole dropped Kyle O'Reilly on the steel steps.
And that ended up being a fucking work.
And then it wasn't a work. The show was off the air. People thought Kyle O'Reilly, because of his diabetes, he was having a fucking seizure. And the people on the roster were saying prayers for Kyle O'Reilly. And he was like, yo, guys, I'm good. I'm just really good at my fucking job.
Yeah.
It's like the guy was just selling.
He worked the crowd.
I'm like, holy shit, bro. This guy's just fucking selling. Imagine Kyle O'Reilly versus Brian Danielson. Fuck it, dude. You gotta think these guys are dropping dead in the ring.
It was the spot where I think Okada was going for the Rainmaker and just Brian dropped, and he was like it. Like
Oh,
What?
Meltzer confirmed. Danielson broke his arm, which he might just say that, like fractured arm. Danielson broke his arm in the elbow drop off the top rope spot.
But
That's
just
crazy.
but yeah, just when Brian was convulsing in the ring, and Doc Samson came in, that's what scared the shit out of me. Because like I thought, okay, is Brian actually okay? Then Okada's like,
Correction.
I'm gonna
Danielson
fucking
broke
finish the
his arm
match.
10 minutes from the finish, is according to Meltzer.
It all depends on how the break is. If it's a messy break, long. If it's a clean break, not too long.
Couldn't be Forbidden Door without a fucking injury.
Also,
Yeah.
it took me like I found this out because out of memory, I think Christian will remember this. You know, Doc Samson was the ringside
For Jerry
physician-
Lawler.
Jerry Lawler,
Yeah,
yeah.
when Jerry Lawler had his heart attack.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Saved his
I
life,
thought it was,
yeah.
I thought it was the redheaded guy.
Mm-mm. That's the guy that Punk was in a legal battle with
I figured that.
because of the staph infection. Yeah. But yeah, the match, there was the great Okada kicked out of 2 Bisaiku knees. So that tells you all you need to know about how big and strong Okada is. Okada did not hit a landslide DDT in the match, but he did hit the Rainmaker, and Brian kicked out. He kicked out of the Rainmaker. Usually, Okada in New Japan has been hitting one Rainmaker, and that's it. It kind of got to a point where like Omega was kicking out of like fucking 3 or 4 of them, but it's been back to like he didn't even attempt to do the money clip in this match, which is his submission finish, which he does it to guys that he doesn't respect. So the fact that he didn't do it in this match is pretty cool. But yeah, he kicked it. Brian ended up kicking his fucking head in, but he got him down for the label lock. And as he's doing the label lock, Okada's trying to get to the rope. He's trying to get to the rope, but but Brian gets his other arm, bends it all the way back, gets his hand and his arm around, and his foot and his leg around his arm. He's wrenching. Okada cannot get to the rope. He can't move. And Kazuchika Okada taps out. And let me tell you something. This is a big fucking deal. Okada has not tapped out since 2015. This is the second time ever he's tapped out in his career. Post her New Japan career, post Excursion.
Wow.
Which is the Rainmaker Excursion. He's tapped out once in the G1 Finals. G1 Climax Finals in 2015 to Shinsuke Nakamura. That is the only other time he has tapped out in his career up to this point. This is like John Cena tapping out. It doesn't happen. He got passed out. He passed out by Miro. That's the only submission loss that John Cena ever suffered. This is the second. You've seen history here. Okada hasn't tapped out since 2015. By Shinsuke, this is rare as shit. And the finish came out of nowhere. Everyone was stunned silent, really. No one thought this was going to be the finish because I thought this match was going a lot longer than it was. But what it was evident to me in this match is that they are saving a lot. They saved a ton of shit for this match. And they're definitely going to run this back in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom.
I want to bring this up. With the added factor of Adam Cole and Tom Lawler's match ain't canceled. Do you think that added time to Omega and Ospreay?
No.
Do you think any match got added more time?
Yeah.
Which match do you think got the more time added?
I think Punk and Kojima and the
Larry.
Punk and Kojima.
Do you think the Fatal 4-Way got the extra bump?
No, I think Punk and Kojima. I think maybe a little bit of the 10-man tag, and I think probably they got like Ospreay and Omega got a little bit more. But yeah, this match was excellent. It was a technical masterclass, and you don't really see Okada in technical masterclasses that much. Great mat wrestling. And let me tell you something, they're doing this shit again, and I am excited. And then when that match hits, forget it, bro. This shit's gonna hit like fucking crack in the 80s. But excellent match, and you saw history now with Okada. And I wonder how Okada's gonna take this loss. He hasn't submitted since 2015 to Shinsuke Nakamura. So we'll see. That's how they went after no Ibushi, no angle, no post match angle.
Surprisingly,
Great main event, and an excellent show.
yeah.
Yes.
I think we're probably all gonna have the same wrestler. So the wrestler of the night, can't say of the week because of the week will lie on Wednesday.
Kenny
for
Omega
us.
and Will Ospreay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's just it. Like no one, we don't have to pick certain ones. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay are the wrestlers of the night.
Oh yeah.
Like 100%. Those guys fucking killed it. I can't wait to watch that match again. I'm probably gonna do it as I'm going to bed tonight, just so I can have something in the background.
Hmm.
This match was just fucking beautiful. I wish that Bleacher Report does what New Japan does, and they split up the shows in like the show into the matches that you want to watch, but they don't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I wish,
maybe if shit gets moved to Max eventually, but Max doesn't even have that for regular shows.
well, they have the episodes you want to watch. They don't have like
Yeah, they don't have the
the chapters.
like my favorite thing about WWE Network was like you could like skip to each
it
match
was the
like
chapters.
entrance.
Yeah.
I love. I don't think we probably did mention it, but I didn't catch it. You had Osprey lock in the sharpshooter. Osprey lock in the crossface crippler.
Yeah.
That got
Yeah,
we
we reacted to that one in the house as well.
that got booze and you sick fuck. Osprey knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
But guys, we appreciate you all for watching. Catch us
Can
on
I
Wednesday.
Can I say one last thing before we wrap up?
Kojima, Lariat.
I already said that. Just to reference the chat, Mikey Sapiens rise up. Okay, I'm done.
Fuck you.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What, you got a fucking cult now?
Yeah, apparently.
Maybe.
Hey.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
See,
also,
if I
learn
had
how to spell Christian's name right, folks.
See, my people had a cult, but then we started singing Master got me working. Days never
And I'm just
finish.
gonna have us fade out. Not even gonna stinger. All right, guys. Peace.
Amazing grace, how sweet. They should license that.